lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Sorry, Josh.
From the rolling hills of Pennsylvania's coal country and the Pocono Mountains, the Racers Elite Nextgen series is ready to get it on here at the Tricky Triangle. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. We're glad to have you with us as last evening the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth here in Norristown, Pennsylvania was out of service. It was a rough night, and it may be a little bit of a rougher night here for us here in the booth, but we still intend to bring you some of the most exciting racing on iRacing.com. Dave Regal, alongside of my partner in crime, Daniel Paulus, in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Daniel, great to have you back again as we get to work for week number 2 together.
It's going to be a blast here, Dave. We're here at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. We're going to have 3 turns instead of 4 turns here that we normally see. And I want to talk about this front stretch really quick. We're going to see drivers go 4, 5, even 6 wide here, trying to get a good run going into turn number 1, where they're going to have to narrow it down to 2 lanes.
And a beautiful day here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, just past the intersection of Route 902 and 140 here in Pennsylvania. 2.5 miles around this triangle, Tricky Triangle. So as it is, 75 degrees in the grandstand, just one grandstand at this track. Of course, a huge infield and 3 very distinct turns as we had talked about. Turn 1, pretty, decently banked and sweeping very wide. Turn 2, a little bit flatter, a little bit wider even. And then turn 3, tight and nearly flat. And turn 3 is just about this side of Calamity Corner here at Pocono. And of course, all that being said, partly cloudy skies bringing us to a track temperature of 118 degrees at this altitude. So it's going to be an interesting day for grip. I mean, generally speaking of grip, Truth Hoke locking them up down the backstretch as we get ready for qualifying. This is the kind of racetrack where, once those tires fall off, we're going to see time absolutely melt away off of these cars. In fact, if you look right here in the middle of your screen at that tunnel turn, now that tunnel turn goes off the back. That's Long Pond Road in the distance, and the race office is there. That's where we're going to see that grip. It's already the darkest part of the racetrack. That grip is going to be more important than anywhere else. You can see that that's where those tires are just scrubbing themselves to death.
And that's where you're going to see those tires scrub themselves to death here. As you see drivers making their way out here on track, getting ready to run their qualifying session here, Dave. Right here, you see the Reese's Pieces machine. That's the 59. See him coming on the track here out of turn number 1, getting his engine all ready to go here for his qualifying lap. Truth Hoke having an up and down start to the season, but doing very well here.
Just making some last-minute adjustments here as we take a look at Truth Hoke in the 59 Chevrolet. This league, just like another one that we're going to see later on this season on Monday nights from Monday Night NASCAR, Xfinity Series Racing, this league very Chevy-heavy, if you will. Just 3 Toyotas and 2 Blue Oval Fords in the field tonight where we are here at Pocono. And I mean, Daniel, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that this is probably one of my top 3 favorite racetracks. I mean, this is a home track for me, just about an hour and a half north on the old Pennsylvania Turnpike Northeast Extension. And I'll tell you what, watching these cars boogie around this joint tonight is going to be exciting.
It's going to be very exciting, Dave. And it's also a home track to me. Pocono Raceway is only a 40-minute drive from my house, and it's very exciting. I've been there in person. I love seeing the action here at Pocono. You see cars going 5 wide, coming down the front straightaway on restarts, and that's what makes it very exciting here.
It does. Watching Noah Tansman here on his first lap, we see him just taking this high line, trying to get as much speed into the car as he can, trying to build that momentum for his next lap here as we head on down toward the tunnel turn. Again, not as high banked as 1, but still very much a sweeping turn. And now watch this turn here in 3. And we're going to see this just as he's going to roll into 3. That turn barely exists as far as banking.
There is really no banking here, and turn number 3 is literally as can be. And you see a lot of drivers when they're racing here at Pocono, they slide up the track a lot, and you have to really not over throttle that turn, because if so, you're going to end up in the wall coming off of turn number 3. And it's very challenging for some of these drivers because, they really didn't have a lot of practice here, because some of them may be new to racing at Pocono.
Well, and, to your point, one of the things that we see now, of course, Noah Tansman going 9th fastest on his opening lap. One of the things that we're going to see, especially for drivers that aren't used to this, you're used to running on this outside wall, and we're going to see that coming down the front stretch as Noah rolls out of turn 3 in just a moment. But when you see right here this lane on our left, the driver's right, you almost want to be about a half a car width off of that. And Noah's doing it right now. He's setting those left wheels on the dotted line. Because the closer that you get to that wall, for whatever reason, especially when in traffic, it slows you down for some reason.
It's very weird how that happens here at Pocono. But a lot of interesting stuff actually does happen here at Pocono. You see some weird incidents happen here on the track.
Yeah, Pocono known for being tricky, for being surprising, and this racetrack hosts a myriad of different series. Of course, we've had the IndyCar series here, of course, where the Andrettis were able to stretch their legs a little bit years and years ago. Kind of a big brother partner to Nazareth Speedway, and of course, we also have the Xfinity series that makes a run here, and the Truck series.
Right there in the 9 machine of John Schrombachler running his qualifying lap.
Schrombachler out here on his first quarter, just trying to stretch his legs, get himself used to some things here. Brandon Puffenbarger not far behind, and I didn't check in with him last week, but I do believe that PGH stands for Pittsburgh, as obviously he's playing the airport code game. Zach Lockett out of Vestal, New York, so not too far away. The Vestal Virgin driving the 93 Iracing Chevrolet Camaro on his second lap now. He went 13th fastest the first time around. Let's take a look at this dashboard here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. 184 miles per hour before diving into turn number 2, hitting just 150 and then, getting himself back underway. So it doesn't take him long to climb back up to nearly 175 into 3, and watch the speed that he's going to build coming out of 3. He's going to take this sweeping turn. He's not going to get to that wall. And as he's just in 4th gear now, Lockett going to go 12th fastest on the timing line.
And Zach Lockett is a really good driver. He's very talented. No matter what track we go at, you're going to expect to see him in the top 10, top 5, or contending for wins.
Brandon Puffenbarger resetting his car. As we take a look here at that Fastenal Ford Mustang driven by none other than Andrew Teft from Hope Valley, Rhode Island. He's going to get out here and get underway. Last week, I'll tell you what, we were out there in the Windy City, and I had an absolute blast with you fellas calling that race on the street course. And obviously, this is the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
It's a very big change, Dave. You go to a new Chicago street course in Chicago, Illinois, and now we're here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania, over a mile long, and it is a unique track, I should say, because, it's 3 turns, it's not just 4, and they all have different grooves and different style of racing in each of the turns. 3 turns named after 3 different tracks here with totally different banking.
Yeah, it definitely puts a little tag there on the season schedule. And, of course, this track used to host 2 races per year on the Cup schedule, now down to 1. And, sure, I'm a little bit upset because it's what would be considered our home track. But if you think about it, there used to only be about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks between races here at Pocono. You really didn't get to see a big change in the track itself. I'd be interested to see a spring race here and a fall, maybe a summer race and a fall race, or a spring race and a summer race, because, of course, as you know, this neck of the woods can be treacherous in different times of the year.
It really can, and, like you mentioned, it'd be really cool to see Pocono have a spring race and a fall race, just because, with the different track temperatures, that's going to bring different grip level, and that's going to bring a lot of different handling to the car and how you're going to drive throughout the race. So it would be kind of interesting to see how that would play into fact here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. You see right there the 62 of Thomas Stanley from Buffalo, driver of the number 62.
Stanley goes 21st fastest on his first lap. And, and I'm not going to get tired of this tonight, and quite frankly, it's part of the reason why I absolutely love coming to this track. I mean, I used to live down in Jim Thorpe, which is literally just down the mountain from here, about 25 minutes. And what a gorgeous area. You know, to your point, having a fall race here would just look incredible on TV, to the fans, to the drivers. I mean, I think that it could really showcase a lot of what we have to offer here in Pennsylvania.
It sure does, as you see right there, the 62 finishing up his qualifying. Last lap, he ran a 55.29 here at Pocono.
That lap actually about a half second slower. 58.81. Oh no, it's more than a second. That's about 2.5 seconds slower for Stanley. So just two drivers have not gone out to qualify this evening, Michael Brooks and Dwayne McMahon, and it looks like they will not get the opportunity to do so. We're going to take a quick peek here at our qualifying results. Austin Smith going to sit on the pole, joined by Ira Kohlhaas. And Alex Teff, Truth Hoke, and Joshua Neal going to make up your top five as we're waiting for Austin Smith to hop into that cockpit here. As he does, let's zoom in on this young man. Austin Smith going to sit on the pole position from Burlington, Wisconsin. On the front row by Ira Kohlhaas. From Woodlawn, Tennessee, row number 2 going to feature Alex Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, as well as Truth Hoke driving the number 59 Reese's Pieces Chevrolet Camaro. Joshua Neal from Fort Wayne, Indiana, of course also the home of Frank Burns, who eats worms, in the number 82. On the inside of row number 3, joined by Kensley Smith from Tarboro, North Carolina, going to be starting in 6th position. Corey Crowell from Oak Harbor, Ohio, in the number 20 Chevrolet, going to start on the inside of row number 4. Dennis Kane from Detroit, Michigan, going to be starting on the outside. The first blue oval of the evening, starting on the outside of row number 4. And then we get to the first Toyota Camry of the night, driven by Paul Shaw on the inside of row number 5. The top 10 going to be rounded out by Jeremy Carter from Bloomington, Indiana. And then the best of the rest, John Schallenbachler on the inside of row number 6. On the outside of row 6 going to be Diego Rodriguez from Adrian, Michigan. Row number 7 made up of Noah Tansman and Sam Kohlhaas. While row number 8 going to feature Brandon Honeycutt and Zach Lockett out of Vestal, New York. Gordon Spain going to be starting on the inside of row number 9 in 17th position from Fredericksburg, Virginia, alongside of Brandon Puffenbarger from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Michael Smith from Burlington, Wisconsin, as well as Jason Bottoms going to be making up row number 10, while Thomas Stanley from Buffalo, New York, Michael Brooks, and Dwayne McMahon starting shotgun on the field from none other than Kannapolis, North Carolina, of course, the birthplace of the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt.
As this field now makes their way onto the surface here at Pocono, Pennsylvania.
The Iracing.com pace car lights are out, which means that we'll be going green flag racing. I know that you folks at home have been waiting for it. I know Daniel and I have been waiting for it. Here as the pace car creeps down that third stretch here. It's not really the back stretch, it's not really the front stretch, it's kind of the side stretch, if you will. As Austin Smith going to let that foot hover just above the throttle, tap here, keep himself at pace speed so as not to get himself a black flag. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in because we're going to be green flag racing at Pocono.
Pocono as they head into turn number 1 here at the Long Pond Raceway.
Ira Kohlhaas getting just in front of Austin Smith while everybody else still battling for their lives so far in this field. We're going to go up to the blimp And we're going to watch right now Joshua Neal challenging Kenley Smith in the number 15 Exalta Chevrolet. Looks like just about everybody trying to get themselves maybe single file, get ready to pick some folks off, with the exception of the 9 car here. That's John Schoenbachler. He's side by side with the 24, so some Hendrick Motorsports numbers here in the field going at it just behind Paul Shaw as they're trying to get themselves single file. And, you know, maybe you can speak to this to some degree, Daniel, but, you know, in a place like this, you almost want to get yourself single file and start picking one another off one at a time.
That's what you want to do here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. You want to see how your car is going to handle here, because through each turn here, it's going to be a totally different feel to your car and how it's going to handle. You know, turn 1 is totally named after Trenton, and it has the banking of Trenton. Turn 2 has the banking of Indianapolis, and turn 3 has the banking. Basically, no banking actually. It's modeled after the Milwaukee Mile there. If you've ever been to Milwaukee, it's been pretty flat there in the turns. But this is a whole new challenge for most of these drivers as you see them working their way down the front straightaway. Most of these drivers now single file here and in the turn number 1 with Aaron Kohlhaas right there.
Taking a look right here, Austin Smith leading Ira Kohlhaas into turn number 2. And as they get ready to set themselves up, Austin Smith getting a run into 2 so we can see where he's going to start building that lead.
As you see right there, Aaron Kohlhaas still making some ground here on our leader. That is the 23 of Austin Smith as he's coming now. Turn number 3, heading down the front straightaway here. Still having a pretty big gap here over second place. You see right there the top 4 pulling away from the rest of the pack here as they enter turn number 1. 23 of Austin Smith, currently P1. Second right now is the 29 Aaron Kohlhaas, a very strong driver here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. And here they come into turn number 2 right now. You see them going to that double yellow line. That's where you want to be there in turn number 2. You could get a good corner exit. As you see them leave turn number 2, now heading down to that flat turn 3 there. Where you don't want to overshoot that turn, because if you do, you will end up in the wall. See right there, the 9 of John Schnoebachler making some good laps here, coming off turn number 3 on front straightaway. Right up there, you see the 59 True Hope in that recent piece of machine making a move to the inside in the turn number 1, coming off turn number 1, heading down this long straightaway into turn number 2. There you see the 59 Truth Hope getting past the 82 of Joshua O'Neill as they come off of turn number 3. Right behind those two, you see the 4 of Dennis Kane had a few opportunities to win, just didn't execute as well. You see most of the field now single file here. But a great battle between the 59 and 82. Let's see if the 82 makes a move. Does not. As you see, they are just going to follow each other through turn number 1.
Taking a look here at Truth Hoke and the Reese's Pieces Chevrolet. Of course, Reese's made about 2.5 hours away from the racetrack here in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and actually over there in Derry Township. And Reese's, here's the interesting story about the candy itself. Number 1, it's Reese's, not Reese's. And, you know, here's the thing. There was a man named H.B. Reese, not Reese, who was an employee of the Hershey Chocolate Company, and basically he had been fired. So as a confectioner himself at home, he developed these peanut butter cups and proceeded to call them Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. So the Reese family, of course, still getting royalties out of that more than 100 years later. But needless to say, Reese's Pieces, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and all of the deliciousness that comes with that peanut butter from the rolling hills of central Pennsylvania, so not too far away. So glad to see that on the car tonight.
A very nice looking paint scheme here, especially on the tricky triangle.
Dennis Kane getting ready to work over Joshua Neal, as we see Kane starting to look to the inside of Neal in the 82, that Mountain Dew Code Red Chevrolet. So a Ford trying to claw his way up through the top 10. Basically the only non-Chevrolet in the top 13, as Paul Shaw in his Toyota Camry running in 14th position. Right now, Dennis Kane starting to get a run now on the 82. He gets some drafting, but if that car in front of you gets too close to the wall, it almost pulls out a parachute from behind you. Meanwhile, as we were just mentioning it, Paul Shaw getting ready to work the underside now of Jason Bottoms, as Bottoms sees Shaw on his bottom. Now Shaw, all of a sudden, Jason Bottoms hauls it to the inside. He's going to look for an edge here, diving into 2. That's going to slide him right in front of Diego Rodriguez, as Rodriguez now falls into 13th position, as he is down 1 position from the leader.
Right there, 57 of Jason Bottoms, currently in front of the 24 Diego Rodriguez. Number 3. They're struggling a little bit, losing position. Pretty much all single files they have to turn number 1. Right there, the 93 and 57 working together on that top group there. So far, everybody's keeping it straight. No cautions here tonight. We are racing here at Pocono Raceway at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. See right there. 23 with a 53.98 on lap 9 out of
8. 9 laps in, now 10 as they cross the start-finish line and get ready to work lap number 10. With Austin Smith leading the way, followed by Ira Kohlhaas and Alex Teft right now, your top 3. You can pretty much throw a blanket over Smith and Kohlhaas, but with 80 laps, 5 sets of tires, I mean, realistically, you could get yourself into some nice position if the pit window opens the way that it should, and that pit window should open up about lap 45, so you could do this in one stop if you really try and really stretch out these tires. And, you know, of course, we've discussed it a million times in the iRacing.com forums. You know, tires are king, whether you're in real racing or, you know, here in the sim. And some of these drivers that we see week in and week out are just tire-saving wizards.
You're correct on that, Dave. As you see here, the 57 battling right alongside the 93 there of Zach Lockett. Zach Lockett is a very strong driver, no matter what track you're at here. As you see right there, the top 3, 23 of Austin Smith leading this pack here on lap 11. Second place, 29 of Kohlhaas. Third place of Teft right there with a 1.87 second gap over our leader. Right behind them, you have the 15 of Smith and the 20 of Carell. See right there, the 15 of Smith now dropping back 2 positions here, losing a lot of ground here.
Well, you know, and as you look and see, all of a sudden Kensley Smith deciding to bring it in early, 12 laps in. Let's see what Kensley Smith's going to do here. I'm kind of curious, maybe what the thinking is. Is this a scheduled stop, or is this going to be something way out of sync?
I mean, it could go either way, if you want me to be honest here, Dave.
Looks like Smith is going to take 4 tires, rights, lefts, drop it down, and go. So I guess this is going to be part of their strategy. Now, coming out when Kensley's going to, the field is now coming out of turn 3. So Kensley's really going to have to pedal hard to get up here onto the racing surface, basically dropping himself to last position on the lead lap. And you can see the leaders in the rear view mirror. So going to be interesting as Kensley gets up to speed right now. That's actually kind of cool if you look at it, because 2.5 miles is so big. If you can really hit that pit stop right, all of a sudden that race strategy can change for you.
It certainly can. And you want to know, Dave, is that you don't want to make any pit road mistakes here at Pocono. You know, you don't want to lock up the brakes speeding coming on the pit road. You want to speed coming off the pit road. And you certainly don't want to overshoot your box, because, you know, if you do any of those, it could result in a black flag. And you don't want a black flag because you could go a lap down here at Pocono. So you want to try to avoid pit road mistakes, as you see right there. The 23 of Austin Smith leading this whole race pretty much here, only on lap 14.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of strange that would be happening this early on here. But, you know, at this point in the evening, it just seems like everybody's... Wow! What in the world was that from Ira Colehouse? Let's see if we can go back and just take a peek. We're going to watch Colehouse here on the backstretch, and all of a sudden just wham into the wall. Let's see if we can follow this from the cockpit. I'll tell you what, one more time here from the cockpit, because it's almost like he lost a tire.
Looks like the rear end came around a little bit.
That's incredible, especially when you're running in second position like that.
It was a great save by Aaron Colehouse. Now he's going to have to try to figure out if he can get back up to the front and contend for the race lead. But you saw right there, coming off of the turn, that car is a lot to handle right now.
The yellow flag is out. Checking up.
Let's take a look and see what happened here with
Sam.
Thomas Stanley.
See right there, 62.
Wow.
Got loose, it looks like.
Let's see. Maybe from another
Pit cars
position
between
here.
1 and 2.
Almost the same thing as Colehouse had experienced. just about catching the 30 car, driven by Sam Kohlhaas. So with that first caution, I believe we're going to see some wholesale pit stops here coming up, as Austin Smith is tucking himself down along that yellow line in turn 3.
And here they come down pit road. You see Austin Smith leading the pack here. You don't want to speed coming off the pit road or on pit road.
Don't mind my
They're
teammate
gonna
up there.
probably get a set of tires and splash of fuel.
Splash of fuel is right. We've got, let's see, just about a quarter of the race in, so maybe they're thinking about stretching this out as far as pits go. Kensley Smith, though, already having come in, now going to get on the same cycle as everybody else as Kensley comes in. Pole sitter Austin Smith, everybody except for Ira Kohlhaas, who was just on pit road, so this will enable him, should enable him to get that lap back, I feel like, because everybody else is coming in. So whether lucky dog or not, that should make that possible here. As we see the race off of pit road led by Austin Smith, Corey Crowell, Truth Hoke, Joshua Neal, Alex Teft, Brandon Puffenbarger, Dennis Kane, Jason Bottoms, John Schoenbachler, and Kensley Smith rounding out the top 10. So Kensley Smith playing it pretty simple. In fact, I see the pit time for Kensley was just 5.58 seconds, so that's a splash of fuel for sure.
Jacking up.
It sure is, as you see right there, the 15. Running that William Byron paint scheme. Looking pretty nice there, Dave. But Austin Smith, I mean, if you're going to want to get around him here tonight, you're probably going to have to either try to bump him out of the way, or you're going to have to find another teammate or something and try to side draft him down these long straightaways.
Well, and Austin, you know, one of those drivers that we haven't seen him make many mistakes, if any at all, from that position. You know, at a place like this, your rhythm becomes so important. And my personal Pocono whisperer, whose late great stepfather was on the crash crew here at Pocono for many years, Bob Nestor. Bob is one of these guys who just knows how to boogie around this place. I mean, you know, he makes it look easy. He makes it look, you know, relaxed.
I got it.
The man is capable, and you can check him out later on this season as he's making his return to the iRacing sim. But this is a guy who is so comfortable at Pocono that he can refill his vape and not lose a single position while going through the turn.
As you see the field now doubling up here. See 23 of Austin Smith on the inside, 20 of Corey Carell on the outside. Row 2, we're going to have 59 on the inside of Truth Hoke. Right alongside him is going to be the 82 of Joshua O'Neal. As you see them coming off of turn number 1, that piece car is getting ready to come on pit road. We're going to go racing here once again here. First caution of the night. Going to restart here on lap 20 out of 80. Dave, that's only going to leave us with 60 laps to go here. What are expectations going into this restart? And are we going to have a long green flag run again?
Well, I'll tell you what, you have a long green. Yeah, we just had a long green flag run. You know, all of these laps logged in. I don't see too much. You know, maybe as we get toward the end of the next tire run, we may see a little something goofy, if you will. But, you know, in all honesty, these drivers hold themselves to a different standard than what it is that we see. You know, they hold their safety in probably the highest esteem of any league that I've seen on the iRacing.com servers.
There they come into turn number 3. Remember, turn number 3 is that flat Milwaukee Mile turn where there's literally no banking. You want to be very careful. There they come off of turn number 3, Dave.
The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. The iRacing.com pace car hits pit road. We get into the Geico restart zone. Austin Smith hits the loud pedal, and we're back underway.
Great race start for the 23 of Austin Smith. You see that field now spreading out a little bit, but the 23 of Austin Smith is clear as he set sails into turn number 1.
3 wide through turn 1. That's the 15, the 9, and the 93 as they get themselves organized to go double file down the backstretch toward the tunnel turn. And it looks like maybe the 15 trying to pick up some wholesale positions as we roll into the tunnel turn. This is definitely the place that you can grab the position, but you've got to be able to defend it once you come out of the turn exit. Because when you're on the long pond stretch here, you're not going to have a whole lot of time except to hold them off.
You're not going to have a long time. As you saw right there, the 9 of Schrombachler get very loose there on the turn number 3. He's going to lose a lot of positions here as that second caution comes out here tonight.
Tracking up.
I see some smoke, but I don't see what happened here. Let's see what went on. Maybe a little bit back further in the field, we're going to take a look. This may involve the 24.
We're going all the way around.
I'm going to have to run this back. I hate to do this in real time. Usually I like to throw a little graphic up there to distract you. But unfortunately, I don't have that one built back in yet. Let's see right here from the zoom cam. As it looks like maybe a little bit of contact. There it is, between the 45 and the 24. Not really sure if the 45 came up, that's Michael Smith, or if Diego Rodriguez just kind of came down a little bit too much. Basically, they went for the same piece of asphalt, and it didn't work out very well.
The 24 of Diego Rodriguez, he's I wouldn't say he's a rookie driver, but he's still trying to get used to racing at these different tracks with these guys, and you're gonna make those mistakes, Dave, but it just happens. I don't like to say rookie mistakes,
Andrew,
but that's
nothing
pretty much what it is. You're both running for the same real estate, but there's only so much for one person, and you saw right there the 45 and 24 run out of room there.
The pace car's like 25 seconds ahead, so let's hurry it up. But I think we're there, so whatever.
22 laps complete tonight here on the second caution. Of course, I wasn't trying to say it earlier, but unfortunately, as you and I both know all too well, sometimes it seems like cautions can breed cautions here on iRacing.
It's basically like if one caution comes out, they're just going to keep coming and coming. But, these drivers, they're very professional. They race with respect. They race with dignity. And they race very well. They're talented drivers. It's hard to go to different tracks each week and try to conquer them, and you see the same drivers up here in the front, and you also see some surprise winners too, like we saw last few races here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series, as you see them working their way off of turn number 3.
Looks like we're going to have one more lap of a parade here. So I'm going to go out to
Race control, you got a copy?
And right now I just want to quick pull up Trading Paints and see if we can refresh these bad boys.
Passing under yellow, entering close pits, I guess.
Something seems to be tricked out with them. I've seen dumber, that's for sure.
All right, 10-4.
Now let's see if that corrected our trading paints issue here. 93 of Zach Lockett still in the Iracing.com paint scheme. Let's see if we can go to the 59 of Truth Hope. Still in the Reese's Pieces paint scheme. As they're still refreshing. There we go, that's the 15 Napa machine. Now it looks like things are starting to look better. Nothing like a little bit of a hiccup.
As you see the field now making their way into turn number 1. Dave, I want to go over an interesting fact that I found about Pocono really quick, since we're here in Pennsylvania at the Long Pond Pocono Raceway. So this gentleman and his wife, Rose, founded Pocono back in 1968, opening with a 3/4 mile oval 3 years before the triangle actually came into play. And the short paved oval, this was before the triangle, and the short paved oval became a fixture, but deciding upon the 2.5 mile triangle layout. So before the triangle layout, it was only a 3/4 mile oval, which was pretty interesting about Pocono. I know I didn't know about that, but I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, this racetrack was not designed to be the tricky triangle that it is today originally. And it's interesting to see it. And, you know, we talk about it at Darlington. We talk about it at certain racetracks. Darlington, for one, just because of its unique shape. And then to top it off, the fact that it was reconfigured and turned backwards. You know, we see a lot of racetracks that are reinvented and repurposed. Of course, Auto Club going through that this year. As the iRacing.com pace car brings us out of turn 3 and makes that hard left turn. Down pit road. Daniel, I get ready to say it again. We're green flag racing.
Green flag racing back in here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania, here on lap 25. You see our leader right now clear both lanes here, but a great battle for second as they head into turn number 1.
Hot and heavier Truth Hoke and Corey Crowell. As a little bit of wall rubbing for a lot of these drivers, maybe some tight conditions, as there are two HendrickCars.com Chevrolets going down the back chute just on the high side of Truth Hoke. Hoke holding his own in 4th position, looking to gain a spot here. A little bit of aero push shoves him down the racetrack, and all of a sudden we have a drag race down the back chute and into turn 3.
Some great racing action going on here from Pocono. We saw 2 wide, 3 wide once again coming off of turn number 3. But the advantage is going to go to that 5 machine as they head down the front straightaway. Dave, things are starting to intense a little bit here.
They are. The heat's turning up, and in fact, we do want to take a look here as we are watching some of the conditions change. The track is tightening up. 109 degrees on the asphalt, with a 4-mile-an-hour wind, and that wind going to be affecting the backstretch for sure. That is nothing but a wind tunnel when those cars are coming down there.
It's really hard with gusty winds, especially if it's not going the correct way that you want to go. You know, with wind, that means the car's going to handle completely different than it was in practice when there could have been no wind. So that's another trick factor here when you are racing. No matter what track you're at, but as you see right there, some great battling going on. 43 gets loose off of turn number 3, going to lose their position there to the 5 of Brandon Puppenbarger. And now you see him losing more positions there. You see Kelsey Smith in that 15, also battling side by side, potentially going to get that spot away from the 43.
We've been talking about drivers losing positions, but right now, the biggest gainer and biggest mover of the night in either direction is Jason Bottoms in the 57. He's got the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Camaro cranked all the way up to crazy just behind Corey Crowell. He's gained 17 positions tonight, so after starting in 20th, he has clawed his way up here onto what would be the podium. Of course, going the opposite direction, Ira Colehouse down 16 positions after qualifying on the outside of row number 1. So obviously Ira not having the night he was hoping for, but right now Jason Bottoms just went the fastest lap of the race so far, 54.11 seconds, and now Brandon Puffenbarger does the same and goes 53.91 seconds here at Pocono. So it kind of interesting if you think about it, where it seems like the cars are getting faster as the racetrack is getting tighter, and a lot of wall rubbing coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, keep a close eye on that 5 car of Brandon Puffenbarger. You know, he's been gaining ground slowly each lap, but he's a very good driver. As you see right there, he's all over the 59 of Truth Hope. Truth Hope gets loose, and they are wrecking behind. You see the 59 go around, and it hits the inside wall. 3rd caution of the night.
That is not the way Truth Hope wanted to field this one, as we're going to get all the way back here. And we see Hoke being chased down by Brandon Puffenbarger, and just a little bit of aero push sends Hoke. You know, we can run this back. I'm going to make this as slow as possible. You know, we can absolutely tell that of course
coming off of 1.
Hoke was not hit or had any contact at all. You see where the 5 car is just behind him. The 5 car goes high, and that air it's basically a bubble in front of the nose of that Chevrolet pushes the 59 down, and as he tries to recover, bites the wall.
I'm sorry, guys.
And you saw right there in that replay, the 43 also getting collected, just an instant bystander. As you see the 59 now making his way into pits.
Speaking of the innocent bystander, here is the 43 machine. And the 43 just had no place to go. In fact, let's run that back and take a look at it from the cockpit of the 43. The 43 nice and tucked behind the 93. He drifts down the racetrack and just out of nowhere catches the 59. I mean, again, we're going to do this in slow-mo. And just see to this. Now, he's holding his line, no problem. He can see the 59 down on the low side of the track, but angled high. So he starts to drift down to anticipate that, follows the 93. The 93 squeaks by like a fart in church, and all of a sudden, Alex Teft becomes a casualty of aero push on the 59.
Thank you.
And Alex Teft in that 43 probably didn't realize that the 59 of Truth Hope was gonna come back down across the track like that. But, you know, it just happens here. You can't react fast enough, and you get collected in these incidents, even though it's not your incident. But you see right here, 3rd caution of the night here on lap 30. So we have 50 laps to go here. Right now, the 23 of Austin Smith is currently our leader. Dave, what about that 20 of Corey Corral and 57 of Jason Bombs? Is there any way they could get around this 23?
I think in the right situation, you know, Austin Smith spins a tire and maybe cedes the position for a short period of time to Crowell. But right now, he just has this thing on lock. You know, best person in qualifying, best person here in the race itself. And it just seems like he is a Pocono professional getting around up here. I mean, you know, realistically, he's like a skier at one of the local area resorts here on a double black diamond, and he is acing it every time.
I couldn't agree more.
What are you talking to me, John?
Pace
Sorry.
car making its way to turn number
Yeah, I was saying
3.
I don't see any damage on your car at all, not even a scratch, so. Okay, yeah, I got a 0X for it too.
We're going to have the 23 of Austin Smith line up on the inside, the 20 of
Corey
Corey Corral line up on the outside. Right behind them, we're going to have the 57 of Jason Bombs on the inside. And Brandon Puffenbarger in that 5 machine has been gaining ground there on that long green flag run. He's going to start right on the outside. Right outside your top 5, you're going to have Zach Lockett. Actually, P5, he's going to be on the inside. Just right outside of that, you're going to have 6th place of Joshua O'Neill. He's going to be lining up on the outside. So those are your first 3 rows here. As you see, the pace lights are off. The pace car going into turn number 1. Dave, this is going to be a hectic restart.
Yeah, it's going to look like rush hour traffic on the Schuylkill Expressway for sure. You know, everybody jockeying for position. And, you know, as beautiful as it is here in the sim tonight, it's going to get a little uglier here in the Northeast. I know that the storm's been ripping across the United States, and it's getting ready to make a left turn and come up the coast. Looks like we're in for a little bit of snow this weekend, Daniel. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get a little bit of snow. I really want a blizzard, but I know we're not going to get a blizzard. I know for a fact, though, I know it's going to be the first snowstorm. It's not going to be a lot of snow, but I did look at the forecast models, and towards the end of January, the 3rd week of January, and early February, that's when you're going to start seeing a lot more snow get produced, and that's when I'm hearing we're going to get a lot more snowstorms and much more snow in those snowstorms. Not as much rain and that slushy mix, but it's very nice to see some snow over the winter. It's usually at January, February month that we get that snow, but you know what would be even more cooler is if we went to Pocono and we actually got to see that snow on the raceway, because I'm sure that looks pretty.
It absolutely does, and you know, a lot of times the local news up there at WNEP Channel 16 or WBRE out of Scranton, they'll take a ride down as my screen decides to disappear. Thank you, Windows. You know, basically, one of the interesting things that they do is they'll go up there in the snow and kind of screw around on the racetrack. And I always thought that it was just an interesting thing they do. You know, especially because we associate warm weather and you know, gorgeous atmosphere with the racetrack, not the frozen tundra of Long Pond.
They get quite a bit of snow there in Long Pond, as you see right here. We're back underway here on lap 32. You see right there the 57 of Jason Bottoms not going that exact way he wanted to on that restart, losing a few positions here, Dave. Is that a bit concerning for you?
No, I don't think so. I think Bottoms is kind of trying to save some tires. He's laying back. You know, one of the things that I did not bring up earlier that was, of course, forwarded over to me was 75% the fuel load in these cars. So, you know, not your usual 100% 22.5 gallons, but we're at 75%. So that may be what shortened up the earlier, you know, pitch strategy of Kenson Smith. I wasn't thinking about it at that moment of how that could be, but we may be in that neck of the woods, especially, you know, most of these drivers haven't been down pit road since lap 17. So in the next few laps, I think we're going to start to see those green flag pit stops.
We sure will see those green flag pit stops. But, you know, if that leader does come in, you know the rest of the pack's going to be, like, thinking, maybe I should come in pit road as well. So if you do see the leader come in, you're going to know the whole pack's going to come in. But it just doesn't have to be the leader. If somebody else comes down pit road, that's going to attract the leader's attention and say, hey, maybe I should come down pit road. So it's just a matter of when and who will be the first one down pit road.
Without a doubt. I mean, you know, as we go through the field here, you know, Austin Smith has really stepped out and become the Pied Piper of Pocono, if you will, P cubed. So Austin Smith, control of this field. Looks like right now in the back, Truth Hope trying to battle his way up to where John Schellenbachler is. And it almost seems like this whole little area back here, you know, between Alex Teff, Truth Hope, and Ira Kolas, suddenly they're jockeying for position like their lives are depending on it with less than 50 laps to go.
I mean, I don't know why you'd be getting a little aggressive right now in the back of the pack. I mean, you still have 50 laps to go. That's a long way here at Pocono, especially because it's a big track. And, I mean, I would just try my best, see how my car is handling, and see what you can fix on pit road and go on from there. But don't make any risks that you want to end up ending your night, I should say. You don't want to make any risks that could end your night. So you want to be very careful. You see a lot of drivers now moving different lanes, getting a little more antsy here, trying to gain some position here to see him heading in turn number 1.
Absolutely. You know, the other thing is that coming down there and, you know, maybe getting off the throttle a little bit can give you a positive spin there on those tires. Cool down a little bit, you know, keep a little bit of extra grip in them, so to speak. So, you know, different strategies in play right now. As we take a look at Andrew Teft.
As you see, we're here on lap 35 out of 80 here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. We want to thank all you fans for supporting us and watching this wonderful race here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. As you see right now, the whole field pretty much spread apart. Not much going on here. As you see, our leader, 23 Boston Smith, has been controlling this whole race pretty much. Nobody out front's been trying to get around him. They're going to have to find something on the track or in their car that they can to get around that 23 Boston Smith. As you see right there, the 20 of Carell now making the move here on the 23 Boston Smith. First lead change here of the night with the 23 Boston Smith now falling back to second. And right now you see third place right now is the 5 of Braden Puffenbarger, another strong driver. Fourth place, Jason Bottoms. Fifth place, 93 of Zach Lockett. And fifth place, Joshua Mills. Seventh place, Brandon Honeycutt. Eighth, Paul Shaw. Haven't talked about Paul Shaw lately, but he's doing excellent, as you see him currently inside the top 10. Ninth place, we have Noah Tansman, and rounding out your top 10, Andrew Teft, another strong driver. As you see right now here on lap 37 out of 80, the 20 of Corey Carell leading this pack here over the 23 of Austin Smith for the first time here tonight. And you see here a nice little pack here. Right there's the 6 of Andrew Teft leading that pack there of 4 or 5 cars. Actually 6 cars as they head into turn number 3 here. Flat turn 3. See different drivers. He's in different grooves here. And you see right there, Corey Carell leading the pack coming down the front straightaway. See some cars bouncing off of that turn 3 number wall. That is due to the tire wear. Car going out of turn number 1. As you see right there, here on lap 38 out of 80. And right here to the halfway point almost here in this race here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. One more lap. We are at halfway here in the race for the Next Gen Cup Series. As you see here, this 6 of Andrew Teft. You see 2 cars battling side by side right behind him. That is the 3 of Gordon Spain and the 43 of Alex Teft. Remember, the 43 of Alex Teft got collected in an incident earlier on in this race and is now making his way closer to the top 10 once again. Now on lap 4 here at the halfway mark. As you see right there, if you look to the left, you'll see the pylon right there. 1 through 10, that's our top 10 drivers right now. And you see right there, second place, there is a change once again. Corey Carell now back to third. And he was literally just the leader 2 laps ago. Now Austin Smith in the 23 is now your leader once again. But look who's right there in second place. It is Brandon Puffenbarger. Remember earlier on, we talked about him, how strong he is, and look where he is. He's currently P2 in the top 3. And look at this, 3 wide. Now back down to 2 wide here, going down the front stretch at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. You see right there the 43 of Alex Teff, now inside the top 10, passing the 6 of Andrew Teff. Right there, 59 battling side by side with the 6, that is Truth Hope. As now the 59 goes behind the 6, they all go single file once again. Right here once again, going into turn number 3. Very close contact there between the 59 of True Poke and the 3 of Goran Spain. They keep it going. The 59 True Poke gets pushed out of the way. He's going to have to now side draft to get a good run into turn number 1. As you see, he falls back in the line before turn number 1. There's the 6 Andrew Teff still in that 6-car pack. Right there as they head to turn number 2. Remember, turn number 2 is famously named after Indianapolis Motor Speedway, has the same exact banking, and that's what makes turn number 2 represent Indianapolis. Here's turn number 3, representing the Milwaukee Mile, that flat turn as they head down the front straightaway. This front straightaway is very, very long here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Turn 1 is famously known for the Trenton Motor Speedway in Trenton, New Jersey. And here's a little fun fact for you racing fans. The front straightaway at Pocono Raceway is 3,740 feet in length. That is a pretty big, that's bigger than a football field by far. And then the oval is 60 to 100 feet wide, which is pretty big. So they could go 5-6 wide here on this front straightaway. And this is actually one of the biggest front straightaways in the NASCAR circuit currently right now. As you see right there, the 23 of Austin
The yellow
Smith
flag is
still
out.
leading this pack here as the caution comes out for the 4th time here tonight. We are going to have to take a look at this replay to see what happened here. Here's the replay. You see right there, the 3 on the bottom lane. Oh, it's the 59 once again. Gets turned by the 4 of Dennis Kane. They're off of turn number 3. See a lot of heavy front end damage to that 59 machine of Truth Hope. Not having a night he wanted to have. Let's see here as they're riding along with the 59 there. Gets loose. Gets a little help from the 4. Goes around, and now he is going to have to come down pit road and get serviced once again. Here's another shot at it. Right there, the 59 gets loose, tries to correct it. 4 is right there, helps him, and hooks the 59 into the wall with heavy front end damage. True Hope not having the night he wanted to have. This is his 2nd incident of the night here. And like we said, the tricky triangle is pretty tricky here. As you see, it's given multiple drivers a little difficulty here racing around this raceway. As the pace car is now on track, Austin Smith in that 23 leading the pack here on lap 45, 4th caution of the night here. After halfway right now here, lap 45 out of 80. Exiting turn number 2. We want to thank our viewers here on Sim Racing Media for watching this Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. If you have any questions, please comment down in the comments below. We'd be glad to answer those questions. And let us know, how many cars do you think before this race ends will go even 5 or 6 wide here on these restarts later on tonight? As you see, drivers now making their way down pit road. You see the 23 of Austin Smith leading everybody down pit road. They're going to get a good set of tires and Sunoco fuel. So far, everybody's doing pretty good getting into their box. No overshooting their box. No speeding on pit road yet. As you see right there, the 23 of Austin Smith getting service. Right there's the 59 of True Folk missing a hood after getting collected in an incident once again here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. See tires going on those cars, just right sides from the 23 of Austin Smith, and he's going to win actually off the pit road, but see right there, the 3 of Gordon Spain's going to be your leader. As the 23 is going to start second here on this next restart. You're going to have Gordon Spain starting first on this restart here. Right alongside him, we're going to have the 23 of Austin Smith. Row 2, we're going to have Brandon Puffenbarger and the 20 of Corey Carell. Your third row, we're going to have Jason Bottoms and Alex Teff. Those are your first 6 starting positions here on this next restart. We want to again thank all our viewers here on Sim Racing Media. Make sure you give a like to that video and subscribe here on the channel for more racing content. Please check out our other series too. Some great racing going on across many series. We have Trucks, Xfinity Cup, you name it, we have it. As you see, we're working our way off of turn number 3, going down the front straightaway. Gonna be lap 47 here. Gonna restart on lap 48. Let's go through our top 10 really quick before this restart, folks. 23 Boston Smith been very strong here all night. Once he's out front, very hard to pass here at Pocono once he's out front. Starting second, we're going to have Austin Smith. Actually, first, we're going to have Gordon Spain, my bad. Third place, we're going to have Brandon Puffenbarger. Fourth place, Corey Carell. Fifth place, Jason Bottoms. Sixth place, Alex Teff. Remember, he got involved in an incident earlier on, back inside the top 10 once again. 7th place, we're going to have Josh O'Neill. 8th place, we're going to have the 9 of John Schoenbacher. 9th place, we're going to have Zach Lockett. And rounding outside your top 10 right now, we're going to have Paul Shaw in that 25 Toyota Camry, rounding out your top 10. As they make their way through turn number 2. Doubling up, getting ready to go on this restart here. Gonna be restarting here on lap 48. Let us know in the comments down below how this race is going and who you're cheering on to win here tonight from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Pace car makes his way on the pit road. Field in the hands of Gordon Spain and Austin Smith. Green flags back in the air. We're underway here on lap 48.
Gordon Spain getting a good jump up 16 positions from where he had qualified tonight back in 17th, as he's going to lead this field down. Oh, contact between the 5 and the 23 of Austin Smith. I'm sorry, between the 5 and the 20 of Corey Crowell, as everybody kind of fighting for real estate here coming down the backstretch. looks like not too many folks going to be, let's just say, sportsmanlike as we're past the halfway point. Edging up on that 30 to go. Contact between the 9 and the 13. They keep it clean, though, as they get ready to haul it off into turn 2.
Right there, hauling it off into turn number 2. You see right there the 9 of Schoenbachler. Currently P10 battling side by side with the 13 of Brain and Honeycutt. Dave, this is the first time we actually seen the 13 contending for the top 10 here tonight.
Yeah, Honeycutt has worked his way all the way up now, you know, from 15th position, and he has taken his time.
You're good, man.
You know, a lot of times at these races, patience becomes everything. I know that we talked about it last week at Chicago, you know, and on a road course, patience is just about everything.
Go around.
Where here, you know, right, looking just ahead of him, they are 3 wide, the 25-56 and the 9. That's Noah Tansman, Paul Shaw, and John Schoenbachler. All of a sudden, whoa! The 6 getting tight.
Of course, I botched the corner.
That's gonna
All
make
of a
them
sudden,
3 wide once
we
again.
have an angry hive of Hornets as Sam Kohlhaas just made it look that easy to get back into position here. We're going to go to chopper cam above Andrew Teft and maybe back it off a little bit further. As we can see the 29, that's Ira Kohlhaas looking to the inside of Dennis Kane. Kane holding his own just underneath the Skull Machine. And they're still side by side going down the backstretch out of 2.
I want to follow you to see it not into the wall.
Saw some great racing yesterday from the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Here we are again here tonight, Dave, with the Cup Series, and they're also putting on a great performance here tonight. Seen some great moves, seen some incidents, but that is why they call it the Tricky Triangle, because let me tell you, it is tricky. No matter what turn you're in, your car's going to handle totally different because of the banking and that air around you. As you see right there, the 4 Dennis Kane clear of the 33 heading down front straightaway.
They're chasing each other like kids on a playground right now with 30 to go. Andrew Teft right now running in 14th position, up 8 from where he had begun. He's watching these drivers in front of him, waiting for someone maybe to flinch here, as it looks like Paul Shaw and his Toyota Camry kisses the wall a little bit out of 1. He's still gaining, though, on the 82 of Joshua Neal, as Neal cedes another position. It almost seems like, you know, a lot of these drivers that were in the top 5, top 10 early are now starting to sink back into our standings on the timing tower.
Right there, 25 of Shaw working his way. Currently P9. Now falling back to P10. Actually, no, he is not. He's currently still P9 right there, heading to turn number 1.
Oh, contact between the 82 and the 25. They managed to keep it steady. And now the 30 gets ready to get involved here as Dennis Kane watches from behind. We're going to go right here into Kane's cockpit. I'm sorry, into the 33's cockpit. This is Michael Brooks, and he's watching this battle go on in front of him. And at this point in the race, he doesn't want to make a mistake that he's not going to be able to recover from. So let those drivers in front beat each other up and then take those positions.
That's all you basically can do, Dave. And you know, you're going to see drivers who are relaxed, just minding their own P's and Q's and trying to work their way up to the front. But don't forget also that, you know, they're also waiting for another driver in front of them to make one little mistake, because that one little mistake could cost them multiple positions and allow them to get by very easily. And that's just because, you know, they're racing at their own pace and they're not pushing it to the limit, but, you know, it is Pocono.
Well, you know, and as we get deeper here into this race, we're going to start to see some more of that aggression come out. You know, watching Andrew Teft start to creep up on the rear bumper of the Wind Creek Event Center Toyota Camry driven by Paul Shaw. You know, these drivers, it's something interesting, and hopefully you get to see it later this year, you know, with me doing Sunday Night NASCAR, as that's going to be an opportunity coming up for somebody to sit with me for this. You know, here's the thing. Chris Claude, who's of course the chief cook and bottle washer over there at SNN, I call him Mr. Consistency. Chris does not go up and steal positions. He simply takes them when you give them up. You know, he's not an aggressive driver. And a lot of these guys seem to be acting in that same manner tonight. As we take a look at Austin Smith, who's got a 0.6 of a second lead over Brandon Puffenbarger and Gordon Spain. So what I say by that is, Chris Claude, he will wait for you to make a mistake and then just get right underneath you or right over top of you, wherever he has to go, and just make it happen. You know, sometimes that's the best way to get around these places. Get your points, get yourself into a good position come playoff time, and be able to capitalize on other people's errors.
You see that no matter where you're at. You can see that Daytona, you can see that Sonoma, for instance, has a road course. You can also see it at Charlotte Roval, you can see it at Michigan, you can see it here at Pocono. No matter what track you go to, you're going to always see drivers waiting for that opportunity, no matter what, to gain position and get as many points as possible. As you see right here, we're working on lap 55 out of 80. We did have a lead change, though, earlier on, Dave, but now it's back to the 23 of Austin Smith. Can anybody possibly get around him once again?
Austin Smith has definitely become the Pied Piper of Pocono, PQ'd, if you will, as he has just extended his gap is starting to lessen a little bit here. Brandon Puffenbarger quietly creeping in on him at just under 0.6 of a second. Now it grows a little bit, but Puffenbarger, you know, really matching him step for step. In fact, let's take a look here at those last lap times as they were. Puffenbarger starting to be a little bit faster by about, you know, 0.05 of a second behind Smith. And, you know, even Gordon Spain a little bit faster than Smith as we get deeper in here. Now, Smith could just be out there toying with them. He could be out there doing something. As looks like we're going to have caution number 5 of the evening. Looks like Jason Bottoms may have reached rock bottom tonight. We're going to see him right here in the 57, shooting in front of the 9. And for whatever reason, just coming down to the bottom of the track, getting clipped there by Sam Kohlhaas, and now coming to a peaceful rest on the backstretch.
Some of these drivers have been having a excellent night here, Dave, but some also very struggling a lot, actually. You know, bouncing off the wall again, very loose. Did we expect this here from Pocono tonight?
I got to say, generally not. Pocono is one of those racetracks, whereas you had mentioned, you know, much earlier in our race this evening, you know, there's plenty of room out here. You don't have to be on top of one another at Pocono. You can give each other a little bit of room. You can, you know, try to make moves single instead of, you know, in mass. A lot of drivers trying to get those wholesale positions. Oh, let me grab 2 or 3 here at once. And sometimes that's what brings out the cautions. Oddly enough, a lot of our cautions tonight not brought out by contact between 2 cars.
Fifth caution of the night here. On lap 57 out of 80, we're past halfway at this point. And I do expect to see drivers' anxiety and anticipation to start ramping up tremendously here in the closing laps. As you see the 23 coming down pit road, he's going to lead a lot of cars, Dave. Pretty much looking like the whole field.
Yes, sir. Wholesale pit stops underway from first all the way down through what appears to be 23rd. Diego Rodriguez, the only driver not coming down pit road. Not sure what he's trying to do here. Maybe get a lap back. As we see Rodriguez clawing his way back forward. He was not down a lap, so not sure what made him decide to do that, because he hasn't been down since lap 45.
24, Diego Rodriguez there. Currently P1, second place. We have Noah Tansman. Right behind him, we have actually the very dominant driver of tonight from Pocono, the 23 of Austin Smith. So we're going to have to see how this restart handles out. Are we going to see Austin Smith, Dave, pull out of line and try to get around them, or do you think he's going to stay in line?
I don't think there's any way that he tries to stay in front of them more than a few hot seconds. We're looking right here in the middle of your screen, folks, at the pit strategy for stint length. I mean, everybody got 17 laps on that opening set of tires. Rodriguez takes a little bit of a break here and then goes right back in after 24 more laps and now 17. So it seems like 17 is his lucky number. Maybe that middle number there is kind of a freak show, because other than that, it appears most of these drivers, 28 laps, they're all coming in together, except for, of course, Spain, Tansman, Rodriguez, and Teft.
Checking up in 3.
When we get going on this restart, you're going to have the 24 of Diego Rodriguez leading this pack here with Noah Tansman in the 56 right alongside him. But don't count out that 23 just yet, because let me tell you, he is a fast race car driver, especially here at Pocono. It looks like he's found out every which way to somehow make his way up to the front and stay up front no matter what. And right behind them in row 2, you're going to have the 5 of Brayton Puffenbarger and the 20 of Corey Carell. But if you look back in row 3, it's very interesting to see we have the 3 of Gordon Spain and the 93 of Zach Lockett. Could they possibly do anything here now, considering a top 5 or contending for a race lead?
Going to be Rodriguez, Smith, Puffenbarger, Crowell, Spain, Lockett, Teft, Honeycutt, Teft, and Paul Shaw rounding out your top 10 when we go back green. So 3 cars in the top 10, not a Chevy bow tie. Kind of interesting.
I agree totally 100% on that. You see a lot more Chevys in most of the fields here. You're going to see a mix of Toyotas and Fords. But, man, this Chevys are dominating right now inside the top 5. I mean, Chevy after Chevy after Chevy, which is good because they can all work together much more. But you see right there, they are now doubling up, getting ready to get going here, Dave, on this restart. They're going to restart with 60 laps to go. And you know what that means? 20 laps to go. So we're going to have to see how this shakes out. Pace car is off field in the hands of Diego Rodriguez. Green flag back in the air. 20 laps to go here from Pocono. As you see the 24 again, a great launch here on this restart. Can he keep the lead? That is the question. As you see, he's cleared the 23 of Austin Smith as they head into turn number 1. Right there, you see the 24 exiting turn number 1, very clean there. But look at the 23 on those fresh tires. Now side drafting that 24, going into turn number 2. You see the advantage is going to go to the 23 of Austin Smith, still battling side by side for the lead. That 24 running that top lane there, but now falling back to 3rd.
My bad,
and
Zach.
he's going to lose multiple positions here as you see the back flying by
You're
him
good.
right
I'm
now
sorry, Brandon.
in turn
I think
number
that was-
3.
The yellow flag is out.
Caution flag is back out here once again. Here, 6th
Okay.
caution of the night in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series from Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Looks like
We are
Andrew
going to take a look at
Teft.
this replay.
Now watch Andrew Teft in the 6 machine, and he goes 3 wide, and it
Sorry
just
if I helped
goes
you
to
around
dynamite.
that 45. I was trying to back off. I saw you were getting used to it.
Left front made hard contact with that outside wall there. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a broken toe length there, Dave. But, we're going to have to take a closer look at this. Okay. See right now the top 5, all basically drivers that we haven't seen in the top 5 earlier on in this race. Now with only 20 laps to go, they have a legitimate shot at competing with the 23 Boston Smith and possibly getting the win if they can hold them off here with just 20 laps to go. 6th caution of the night here. We want to thank you all, race fans and viewers here on SRM, and watching this wonderful race here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe for more racing content, as we have a lot more series than just the Racers Elite Next Gen. We have Xfinity, truck, you name it, we got it. As you see right now, just 19 laps to go here. Working their way on their pace laps now.
Tell you what, the pace car driver after 6 cautions has to be getting a little tired in there tonight.
I mean, that is his job to drive around the pace car, so I'm sure he was trying to drink a cup of coffee there probably and said, oh man, gotta go back out. But you know, he loves his job. And let's talk about that flag man. Barney the flag man, Dave, he really likes waving that green flag, and he gets the viewers all pumped up.
He does, and as we get ready to go hang out with Barney, of course, right now he's got the yellow flag in his hand. You know, we see so many people. I think it's incredible the amount of technology that we have. You know, strobe lights like they have down at Texas, or standard, you know, halogen strobes like we have at most other racetracks. You know, but, and of course, a $2.1 billion racing investment, you know, or radio investment, for us to be able to communicate better on the side channels. Well, they don't work if everybody put locks on them.
Dave, one thing that I always thought would be pretty cool, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but what about Pocono under the lights?
I don't know how that would play. Not really much of a bustling town. As Barney the flagman holds the 1 to go, we're suddenly going to see him reach down here and grab that green flag. Maybe next lap, I guess. Sure.
Next lap, we're going to go green here. We're going to actually watch Barney the flagman wave that green flag and see what he can see here on this restart. Pace car lights are off. Field bunching up, doubling up here. You have Corey Carell and Austin Smith on your front row, leading us back to green. But first, they got to get through turn 1, 2, and 3 before going back to green.
When we go back green, it's going to be Corey Crowell, Austin Smith, Gordon Spain, Brandon Puffenbarger, and Zach Lockett, your top 5.
With just 18 laps remaining here, we're getting into closing laps here from Pocono Raceway. It's been an incredible race from start to checkers, and I'm sure it's going to be even more better when we get closer to that white flag to see all this racing action happening. And especially from now on to that checkered flag, we're going to have a whole lot of racing yet to go to determine our race winner here at Pocono. So we're going to have to see how this one shapes out. See right there, pace car making its way off of turn number 2, heading into turn number 3. We're going to have Corey Carell controlling this field on the restart.
Tighten it up a little bit, guys.
Pace car is going to make its way on a pit road. And that is when these drivers are going to start getting in their office once again, working behind the wheel. Pace car is off. Field in the hands of the 20 of Corey Carell. The 23
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air with 17 laps to go here from Pocono. Corey Corral gets a great launch. He's going to be cleared to 23 of Austin Smith as they head into turn number 1. Corey Corral holding off the pack as he gets a good exit off of turn number 1. Right there, you see most of the field now single file. You don't want to be on the inside line because you will fall right to the back if you don't get back in line. So you want to try to do that as soon as possible. As you see right there, 23 Boston Smith trying different lanes, seeing around, see if he can get around this 20. As you see right there, he's still trying to make a pass, but he's going to stay right behind that 20 of Corey Corral.
Corey Crowell finally was able to break that code on how to get around Austin Smith and has not looked back in quite a long time. It seems like everybody, though, it's almost a typical Pocono race when all of a sudden you've got a hornet's nest way back here while your leaders are just up there working on each other.
It is a complete mess back here. I mean, look at this. We are 3 wide in the back of the pack. Everybody just trying to single file themselves out. But, I mean, it's extremely hard if you're stuck on the inside line, especially, because then you really can't get into a line. But you see drivers now figuring themselves out, trying to get a single file line, and go click some laps.
I want to take a quick look at Andrew Teft. We heard smoke, but no fire. As we see here, Teft in the 6 machine. Oh! I can tell you how that didn't wind up being a caution. Neither of them actually wound up turning the wrong way on the racetrack.
Look at that impact.
Just barely keeping it green. Never mind, just kidding. Gonna take a look at Thomas Stanley this time. Stanley could not keep up with speed.
That was a very hard impact for that 62 machine. 7th caution of the night with 15 laps to go, Dave. Do we see drivers come down pit road, get another set of tires, or you think they're gonna stay out for the rest of this event?
Checking up going into 1.
Well, let's take a look at the pit strategy here. They had 5 total sets of tires at the beginning of this race. Looks like they may be out. Maybe 5 tire changes, so they may still have a set, maybe. Brooks definitely is out. Schoenbachler is probably out of tires. So maybe the top 5 has one more set laying there in the pits, but it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to have to see if these drivers do come down pit road. Use those final set of tires. You know, that could always be an advantage, but is it enough time? Because you will lose position here if you did decide to go down pit road.
Tell you what, Daniel, it's been an interesting race. I mean, you and I got the chance last week at Chicago to watch, you know, of course, the unique street course that we have now. We get to watch this unique triangle. I mean, this league is full of surprises, especially, you know, for somebody like me coming, you know, basically pinch hitting for, of course, you know, the great one, John. And as we take a look ahead, next week going to Richmond. Now, I don't know how you feel, but if there's a short track I can't take my eyes away from, it's Richmond.
Richmond is a very unique track. I always enjoyed Richmond. I thought it was a cool short track. See some great passes being made there. You're going to see them run that inside line and start making their way towards the top of the line, towards the outside wall in turns 3 and 4, once they find that grip level there. But great racetrack. I mean, I'm looking forward to going to Richmond. But, you know, we have 13 laps here to go from Pocono. So first we got to get through these first 13 laps. And then they can wrap up the books from Long Pond and head down to Virginia to go race at Richmond next week.
Yeah, after tonight, just 2 races left before the playoffs begin. So it's basically going to be the 2011 style chase for the Cup. Going to be 5 races long for the playoffs. So Richmond next week, then the following week Homestead. That's going to be elimination night as they get into the chase format. So Homestead, an incredibly exciting track. We got a chance as a team from Sim Racing Media to head down there this past October, and what an exciting place to watch a race.
It's a very unique track. I always thought Homestead was a great race to race for a championship. But, you know, now it's out in Phoenix, and I really do wish it was back at Homestead. I feel like Homestead is where you should finish a championship race. You know, you start at Daytona, and you start in Florida, so I feel like we should finish in Florida. And Homestead has provided great championship races there. Even though it's a playoff race, it still provides great racing experience. But, you know, I just feel like Homestead has a little bit more edge over Phoenix.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miami is an incredible town to go visit. You know, we spent some time down on Ocean Drive in South Beach, and, you know, just an incredible place. I do agree with you. I think that they should move championship weekend back to Homestead, Miami, but, you know, it is what it is, and the right money went to the right palms, and we're in Phoenix for championship week.
We are in Phoenix for championship week once again in 2024. Don't know if they'll be back there in 2025. I know they're still trying to figure it out, but I'm sure we will know sooner rather than later. 12 laps to go here from Pocono. Pace lights are off. Field bunched up once again. Dave, what do you think? Should we get a camera angle of Barney this time on this restart? See what he thinks?
Absolutely. Let's see what Barney's doing over here. There he is, just holding it out there. Well, let me just stand here right there, and we'll be fine, he says.
He's got a great view from up there. Can see all of turn number 3 and all the way down towards turn number 1. And I'm sure he feels that force of those next-gen cars going right across underneath him as they go across the start-finish line. See right there, pace car making its way into turn number 3 with Corey Carell and the 23 of Austin Smith on the front row.
As they head into turn 3 one more time tonight, let's see if we can make this a green flag run to the finish for the next, what will be 11 laps to go. As we roll it out of turn 3, pace car makes the hard left turn. Barney switches the flag to green. We enter the Geico restart
Green
zone,
flag,
and we're back
green
underway.
flag.
What a great perspective view as you see from the flag stand. Barney waving that green flag, but now the 20 of Corey Carell controlling this field as they head into turn number 1.
Corey Carell gets ahead of Brandon Puffenbarger and Austin Smith, and it's almost like Puffenbarger knows that, you know, Smith was out there leading this piece earlier, and it basically was the Pied Piper of Pocono. Now with these challenges going on and these battles going on, Austin Smith almost starts to look human here in the closing laps with 11 to go.
As you see that 23 of Austin Smith, Dave, he does choose different lines to see if it does give him an advantage over other drivers. You see right there, he's going to the inside, but he's going to stay back right behind the 5 of Puffenbarger. Oh, big crash in the back.
Oh,
Caution's
my.
going to come out.
And that's going to be the one that makes a lot of people really mad. We're going to see exactly what might have happened here, as obviously it was ahead. Let's see if we can find what was going on. The 57 and the 82. Let's go to the 57. We'll run this back. 57 and the 82 just simply go for the same piece of asphalt. And my goodness.
I mean, you saw right there in that replay, it did look like the 57 did come down a little bit. Unless the 82 just came up the track. It's really hard to tell at that angle.
Let's see this one more time from the chopper cam. Chopper's going to give us... Nope, that's not... Maybe not. Let's see here from the chase cam. Now, darn it. Here we go. Let's go ahead and drop this into slow-mo.
See right there, 57 on that top groove. You see
You can see he's losing grip, though. You can see that the car is rotating and he's still going straight. He's going to almost overcorrect here. Here comes the rear end around. And as soon as he gets grip, he just comes down into the 82.
And we did mention grip earlier on, Dave. You know, it's going to be hard to control that car, especially in these turns like I mentioned before. You know, if you don't have that tire wear, you're going to end up on that outside wall, and it looks like that's exactly what happened here at the 82.
Well, and fortunately, there was no retaliation or anything out of Joshua Neal after Jason Bottoms came into him like that. So 9 laps to go now, as it seems like we flew through those first, 20 laps and now have really struggled to get through the remaining 60.
Well, that's because everybody's fighting for position and trying to get as many points as possible. They know the playoffs are coming. We mentioned this, Dave. 2 races left before the elimination race, so we're going to have to see what these drivers can do. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more grooves. We're going to probably see them fan out a lot more on this restart. Could it be the final one? I don't know. We're going to have to see how it shakes out, but let's just say Corey Carell is doing an excellent job on these restarts. But let's talk about Austin Smith for a second here, Dave. Austin Smith's been leading the pack most of the night tonight. Now currently P3. He's not really been having a good... He didn't have a terrible restart, I should say. He had a good restart, but not the restart he probably wanted. And with all these drivers around him making aggressive moves, I mean, is he going to possibly not be in the lead?
I mean, look, every now and then a driver will make me look like I know what I'm talking about. All it took was one bad restart for Austin Smith to cede the lead. And, here he is now going from the top step on the podium to the 3rd step on the podium. Important thing is, still on the podium. Corey Crowell is going to be up here knowing how strong Austin was earlier on tonight, so he's going to be out there basically with a baseball bat trying to keep, that Milwaukee machine away from him. I got to be honest, the guys that know what Austin Smith is capable of here at Pocono, they've got his number, and they figured it out now. And if I was Crowell and Puffenbarger, I'd be sending messages on the side in Discord, hey, keep Smith behind us. We got to keep him behind us. I don't care how we finish that last 100 yards or so onto the checkered flag, but they know if Austin Smith gets back out front, he's going to be back in the lead for good.
You're so right about that. As you see right there, Austin Smith in that 23 machine, hometown out of Burlington, Wisconsin here. And you see right there, Zach Lockett on his outside. Just 8 laps remaining here. Getting into the final laps here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania before we pack things up and head to Virginia for the Richmond race next week. That's going to be a pretty special one as well, Dave. Here they come off the turn number 3.
As Austin Smith works his way out of turn 3 with everybody else, he's going to have to follow Corey Crowell back into the Geico restart zone. His foot hovering again. He gives a little bump to Crowell as we get back underway here, does Smith. So maybe Smith deciding with 7 to go, it's time to get his lead back, as he is now already clawing his way back into second position. We see him here. It almost looks like, do you remember at, well, obviously if you're a Pennsylvania boy, have you ever been to Knoebels?
I have.
It almost looks like the whip when they dive into turn 1 altogether. Or the whipper.
It really does.
I
really
mean,
does.
they go in there with such excitement that watching these cars from one position just looks like, I can't imagine what the G-forces are in there. In fact, let's take a look here. We haven't really gone to the gyro cam much tonight. But let's just see right here from Brandon Puffenbarger as they have forced Austin Smith back.
See right there, riding on board with Brandon Puffenbarger in that 5 machine. See him using that middle groove, trying to get a run on the 20th Corey Corral. Now exiting turn number 1, and down that back straightaway. Caution is out once again. 9th caution of the night. Yeah, see if this goes into overtime. I'm pretty sure it won't, but we'll see what happens. We see right now, with just 6 laps to go. When we cross lines, it's going to be 5 laps to go, with Corey Corral leading the pack. Pace car is on track.
Gonna take a look and see what brought this caution out. Could be John Schoenbachler.
Checking up turn 1.
Take a look at the 9. Ooh.
Oh, good help there by the 13, and it looks like it caused another wreck up front.
Well, we'll see what happened here. If I can just make this stop. Make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. Well, it went in reverse for a little bit there. Not sure what might have brought that out there, because that happened long after the actual wreck. Whatever brought the caution out. We were under caution before that, and I don't see what happened here. Andrew Teff tried to enter the pits twice. That's not going to work. Oh, he came out in 74 and 75. Here he is trying to get. Here comes Teff trying to enter the pit lane again. Maybe he just angered the Iracing gods. He got in nice and clean.
That's very interesting. I'm not sure what happened there, but very interesting.
Every day's a new adventure here in Racers Elite.
Sure is. Gonna be restarting here with 2 laps to go.
We may have a green-white checker situation. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that lap counter there.
Andrew, can we shorten this to 1 to go, or is it too late?
Get 3 laps to go. And they're going to come around for the restart. Then it's going to be 2 laps to go.
Correctamundo.
So it's going to be a green, white checker, basically. Oh, wait. Dave? Looks like the pace car lights are actually off.
They have shut them off, which is going to give us a natural green-white checker. So what a natural green-white checker is, folks, is that means that we're going to take the green flag with 3 to go. We're going to race around,
Hey,
get
Andrew,
get those popsicle sticks in the air, and if we get the white flag, the next flag will
That's
end
what
the
it's telling me
race.
to. I'm just not paying
Whether it's
attention.
yellow or
My
white
bad.
checker. If a caution should come out between the dropping of the green flag and the waving of the white flag, we'll rack 'em, stack 'em, and do it all over again.
Put all the marbles in
Can I have
the
that
middle
yellow,
of the
please?
table,
It's the
folks, 'cause
59.
this could be a make it or break it for some of these drivers actually in the top 5. Could Austin Smith collect that checker flag after dominating this race early on? Or is it going to be a totally different driver like Brandon Puffenbarger? Pace car is off, Dave. Here we go.
Pace car makes the hard left turn. Throw your mittens around your kittens, and here we go.
Go ahead, man.
As Crowell gets a jump over the 23, that's Austin Smith. Smith now with just 3 laps to decide how he's going to get around Corey Crowell. And as we look here, they dive into turn 1. He looks to the low side. He's going to hold this position, and it looks like he just does not have enough as Crowell gets a run out of 1.
Thanks, buddy.
And all of a sudden, Puffenbarger starting to challenge from the right side as we're under caution.
And with that, we are going to have another green-white checkered attempt here, Dave. You have to take a look at this replay, see what brought out our caution here. 10 caution, right? See right there. Colin Haas. Oh!
You have to get an apology.
I'll tell you what, out of nowhere, Brandon Honeycutt just shot his way in there. I want to say for no reason. Like, here comes Honeycutt, and Honeycutt says, no, wait, I want a piece of that. He probably would have been better off checking up and staying out of the way.
I totally agree with you, Dave. I feel like if he checked up, they would have just came right across in front of him and probably wouldn't have collected him if he would have checked up. But, you know, obviously he didn't. And you see right there, the 33 having some handling issues with that machine now. We're in overtime, Dave.
Overtime we are, and as I mentioned, what's going to happen now, the green flag's going to wave. We're going to race around back to get the white flag. If there should be anything that brings out a caution between the time that the green flag waves and the white flag waves, we rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. When the white flag comes out, it doesn't matter if the next flag is yellow or not. As long if the next flag comes out, that's the end of the race.
Well, Dave, do we say put all our marbles
Hey,
in the
Paul,
middle
how's that
and
thing
see
going
what
with
happens?
the front end completely torn off?
I would.
Just 3 laps to go. I don't expect anybody to come down pit road to get any tires or fuel, as the field is now working their way off of turn number 3 down the front straightaway. Race lights are still on. When they come around next time by, pace lights will come off, and then after that, we will restart here in the overtime attempt. Remember, folks, they have to get to the white flag in order to complete this race. If a caution comes out during the white flag, it will end there, and whoever out in front is going to be your race winner. If the caution comes out before the white flag, we will re-rack them and do it all over again and try another overtime attempt. But right now, you see Corey Corral, first place, second place, 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, third place, Austin Smith, 4th place, Zach Lockett, 5th place, Goran Spain. That is your top 5. Just outside the top 5, we have 6th place, Alex Teff, 7th place, Noah Tansman, 8th place, Paul Shaw, 9th place, Kensley Smith, and 10th place, Aaron Colonhoff. Finally getting back up in the top 10. Can we get a good top 10 result here tonight? We shall see. That is currently your top 10 right here in this overtime. Dave, it's getting very exciting.
Yeah, this is definitely what many of us have been waiting for. You know, some of these finishes that we see in these races, you know, this is what, you know, sometimes you got to strap up that 5-point safety harness. Corey Crowell being led out of turn 3 by the Iracing.com pace car one more time, as Crowell and Puffenbarg are going to sit on the front row. Austin Smith, though, lurking from behind on the inside of the second row. And we're going to have another lap.
The lights are off here on the pace car. Do we make it to the white flag? We shall see, with just 3 laps remaining here in overtime.
I'll tell you what, some of these drivers have had a lot of patience tonight. They've definitely shown that their skill is worthwhile. You know, a lot of times, I mean, here we are with 10 cautions, but it's not aggressive driving that's doing it. It's simple, normal, everyday whoopsies, for lack of a better term. And I'll take that over aggressive driving or, jerks out on the racetrack any day. What about you?
I totally agree with you. These are not aggressive moves that are bringing out these cautions. It's actual racing, and it's just racing incidents that occur throughout a race. It's nobody's fault. I mean, yeah, some drivers get upset about it, but, we move on from that, and we race with dignity, respect around the other drivers, and that's what makes this league very fun to race in. And you got to earn that respect, and you got to trust those other drivers that they'll respect you. If you respect them, they'll respect you back. That's how I like to see it, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 laps to go now. Corey Crowell bringing us out of turn 3. Once again, I feel like this is deja vu as the pace car dips down onto pit road.
Green flag, green flag.
Once again, nearly getting shoved by the 23. A good clean start this time. And all of a sudden, the 23 of Austin Smith says, that was my lead earlier. I want it back, and I want it now. Like Veruca Salt and Willy Wonka.
You can totally see that. But don't challenge out that 5 right now. You see that 5 currently P3. He's a very strong driver, Dave, too. And look, he is searching all over that place to get around the 23.
As we haul it down the backstretch and get ready to dip into turn number 2, it's going to go Crowell, Smith, and Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger in the 5, waiting for somebody to make a mistake. As the popsicle sticks are in the air here with 2 to go, we head down the long pond stretch. Puffenbarger looking to the outside, looking to the inside. He's got to find a place to get through here, as Crowell is basically trying to make that Chevrolet 3 wide all on its own. A little bit of wall rub. The white flag is in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. Crowell, Smith, and Puffenbarger.
Final lap here from Pocono. You see the top 3 literally on top of each other here. Can Corey Crowell hold off the 5 and 23? That 5 still searching lanes. Going high, see if he can get around 23.
Well, that move by Puffenbarger was just to try to get a little bit of extra speed and momentum going down the backstretch. And unfortunately was not enough to do it that time. He's going to do it one more time here to see if he can build up enough speed on exit of turn 3. That momentum has got to be able to carry you for more than just an individual turn. You've got to be thinking about the next one every step of the way. Corey Crowell holding him off. They nearly go side by side for the lead. Puffenbarger bites the wall. He won't finish 3rd. Instead, it will be Zach Lockett who finishes in 3rd. It goes Crowell, Smith, and Lockett as the checkers fly.
I for sure, Dave, thought that Corral and Smith, they were going to be side by side there across the start-finish line, but that was some pretty good battle racing going on. We saw Puffenbarger trying to use a different groove to get more speed, like you mentioned, Dave. Just didn't capitalize on it here tonight, but that was some pretty great racing here from Pocono tonight.
I'll say it was, as we're going to try to get a hold of Corey Crowell. See if we can't get this young man out of, let's just call it, you know, celebration mode. That's interesting there. Just waiting for Crowell to come here. There he is. Hey, Corey, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. Congratulations on the win tonight. You were able to finally knock off the Pied Piper of Pocono in that of Alex Smith. But, take us through, Austin Smith, I'm sorry. Take us through, the second half of the race where you just seemed to have it.
Yeah, felt like I struggled there at the first run. I got into some contact with somebody in one of the middle runs there. Kind of fell back, had to use my fast repair. I just kept it up front. I mean, I won't say I definitely beat Austin on that one. I mean, he clearly faster in the long runs. Just all those cautions. It was hard for him to make any progress when it's bunched up like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I mean, at a place like Pocono, it's so long that sometimes you can't use that momentum to your advantage. You wind up, hanging back in third, and you just never get that little burst of speed that you need that we see so often in short tracks. But, and next week we go to Richmond. How are you feeling on the short track?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to the short tracks. That's kind of where I tend to be better at. So looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to tip your helmet to and thank for this run?
Yeah, you guys at SRM for broadcasting this, Racers Elite for the league, and then the teammates at Midwest Motorsports.
All right, man. Well, once again, congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate with that team, and we will see you next week at Richmond.
Thank you.
Hello, Austin. It's Daniel and Dave in the broadcast booth. Got a copy.
I got a copy. How's it going, guys?
It's going very well. What an exciting finish here. You're finishing P2 after dominating, the first half of this race. Once you were out front, how was your car handling? Because it seemed like you were just not going anywhere but staying up front.
Yeah, it was definitely handling pretty well out front. Clean air definitely really helps. But shout out to Brandon Puffenbarger. I mean, he was just sticking right with me the whole time during that long green flag run. And yeah, it would have been really fun to kind of finish that race out under green and just see what he had for me and see what I could do on him. And yeah, it was fun though. But shout out to Corey. Good win for him. I like to see it. Midwest Motorsports going 1 and 2. Solid finish for us.
So, Austin, if you don't mind to explain to our fans how your car was handling from start to finish. Was there a lot of tire wear? And was your car, again, to the point where it was really loose or really tight? Or was it, just right?
Yeah, the car felt just right. I think after the first stop, my right sides were about only 12% worn. So they still had 88% left, both right front and right rear. So I was wearing them pretty nicely and pretty evenly, so it felt good. It didn't feel like I was getting much slower on the run. I mean, we were only running maybe a couple tenths slower than fresh tires when we had that long green flag run. So it felt really good. It was a good car tonight.
And do you have any sponsors, fans that you would like to thank before you go?
Yeah, I want to thank Midwest Motorsports for always working together. Got a good team finish out of it. Thanks to Racers Elite for putting on the league as always, and you guys, Sim Racing Media, for always broadcasting and put on a great show.
All right. Well, congratulations on finishing second here from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We'll see you next week in Virginia at Richmond.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And last but certainly not least, looking for Mr. Lockett here. As there he is. Hey, Zach, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yep, got you guys.
Hey, Zach, listen, great finish tonight. I mean, you definitely probably, I assume that you weren't expecting to be here on the podium, but here you are.
No, I definitely did not expect to be a podium finisher tonight. I mean, I was running around, fifth, sixth, and seventh all night. Pretty much kind of sustained myself there and thought I was going to be, finishing around that top 5 spot. I didn't really have anything for, the Midwest Motorsports guys, Austin and Corey and Puffenbarger as well. But yeah, I was coming down there towards the end and was pretty content running fourth, and got lucky there with Brandon getting loose. But overall, pretty solid night.
Yeah, not bad at all, especially when you weren't preparing for it. I mean, you came up 13 positions after qualifying in 16th. What was it like working your way through that traffic?
Yeah, I was in practice. I was, not laying down lap times like I thought I was going to be able to. I thought I was going to be running, top 5 in practice, and was just not able to, get much out of my car in practice. The track was really hot. I don't know if you guys could see that, but the track was, between 110 and 117 degrees all night. So it was very slick coming out of the turns. So working my way through that traffic, especially early, on cold tires, I think a lot of guys were feeling that effect of, the slickness of being on cold tires and being a hot track. And I was just kind of able to get a couple good runs, take advantage of it, especially later in the run. That second lane, especially coming out of turn 3, was able to, get some good runs and some momentum off that. So guys were able to, or I was able to, kind of squeeze guys down out of turn 3 and keep them down there and get some runs out of turn 3 and use the draft down the straightaway to pass a bunch of cars at once. But no, I figured eventually I'd make my way up here. But like I said, I thought for sure I'd stay back there in like the 5th, 6th, 7th area.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, dumb things happen all the time, and I think it's one of those situations where that was racing doing what racing does best for a lot of us. So before we cut you loose, though, anything that anybody that you need to shout out and tip your helmet to tonight?
Yeah, quick shout out to Paul Shaw for sponsoring this race with his Wind Creek Event Center in Bethlehem. I used to live in Bethlehem, so familiar with that place and familiar with the area. Shout out to my teammates, Jason Bottoms, Thomas Stanley, and Noah. They all had a good race and eventually, didn't finish where they wanted to, but they were good teammates, helping me through the race, and had fun racing with Jason up front. Shout out to the Pocono Mountains, my girlfriend's parents and families from up around there, so I was actually visiting them for the holidays. Was not too far away from the racetrack all week. Got some luck there, I guess, from that. But yeah, shout out to you guys as well. Always doing a great job here in the booth. Really appreciate it. I listen to the broadcast sometimes during the race, and I will definitely turn it back in tomorrow.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week down in Richmond, Virginia.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that one. Thanks, guys.
Well, Daniel, another one in the books here in Racers Elite, and I'll tell you what, the Nextgen series is something really exciting. I believe next week you should have your regular producer back in the form of Jonathan Leach, as of course I'm just here filling in for the great one, and as he's dealing with a family crisis, so to speak. But so we do want to keep him in our thoughts and prayers, as they say on the social medias. And one last look here at our final results of this race at Pocono. Corey Crowell brings home the checkered flag. He captures that, joined on the podium by Austin Smith, who dominated early on in this race, but could not maintain that. And Zach Lockett, the surprise third step on our podium in the 93. Finishing in fourth is Gordon Spain, and rounding out the top 5 is Alex Teft. Brandon Puffenbarger finishes in 6th, with Kensley Smith and Noah Tansman finishing 7th and 8th, while Ira Kohlhaas and Diego Rodriguez round out the top 10, Daniel.
Just outside the top 10, you see there 11th place Joshua O'Neill, 12th place Brandon Honeycutt, 13th place Michael Smith, 14th place Andrew Taft, 15th place Sam Kohlhaas, 16th John Schombacher, 17th Paul Shaw, 18th Dwayne McMahon. Finishing 19th, we have Dennis Kane, 20th Michael Brooks, 21st Jeremy Carter, 22nd Jason Bottoms, 23rd Thomas Stanley, and finishing out our results, 24th is Truth Hoke, after having an eventful night here tonight, Dave.
It certainly was. I was glad to be able to enjoy it with you, to get to hang out with you once again here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. So for myself, Dave Regal, and Daniel Paulus Jr. here in the Tony Trapazzo Memorial Broadcast booth, and everyone here on our team at Sim Racing Meet, I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. And tomorrow, as you go through your day, remember, you're special, you're the only one like you, and you're unique. Good night, everybody.